All right, let's do a demo. So as you can see, I've logged into my Intersight portal, and I have 3 environments that I have access to. For the sake of this demo, we're going to focus on this dCloud environment, and notice that it's in a read-only mode. So I'm going to drill into that, and we're bringing up sort of a view of the Intersight environment, and we're going to be able to see information about my systems that are being managed under Intersight. I will not, because I'm in a read-only mode, I will not be able to make configuration changes, do things like push firmware and those types of things through this environment. So I logged in, and I'm immediately presented with this dashboard that's showing me a whole bunch of widgets that display information about my environment. And it's broken down in various formats depending on the widget that I've selected. So over here you can see I've got a server inventory breakdown of 182 total systems, and they're broken down by the types of systems that they are. Looks like B series, C series, etc. I've also got a server health summary and some of those types of things. I can move these widgets around and display this information in any way that seems appropriate to me, or any way that seems helpful for me. I can also add a different widget if I want. I'll go ahead and add one of my favorite widgets, and that is these custom metric widgets, because I think this just gives you a view of the power of Intersight. So I'm going to go ahead and add a custom metric around the top 5 ports by traffic, and I'll just pick on this first domain here, and we'll go ahead and add that widget to my environment. So I'll close that, minimize that, and if we scroll down to my dashboard here, now I can see these top 5 ports by traffic, and I can see a breakdown of the actual utilization of each of these individual ports. So this is just a view of the various dashboards that I have available to me over here. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, I've got a help option. If I drill into this help, I can see that I can take a tour of the environment, or I can get more help on Intersight, or I can send feedback. I'd encourage you to use feedback to submit ideas to Cisco about how to improve it, or if you find a bug, be sure to let us know through this feedback. These are monitored by real people. But if I want to go ahead and drill into the help, I can get a very robust experience in this help section. This help is updated regularly, so with every new feature, we actually update the help so that it's a living document. If I want to see when we release new capabilities or features, if I drill into this features section, it will actually show me a breakdown of what capability was released when. I'm not going to go into that right now, but just know that that's there, and I would encourage you to use it as you're getting familiar with Intersight. Now from here, I can go ahead and use some of these widgets to my advantage. I want to see a server health summary. Well, I've got 7 servers here that are in a critical state. Let's drill into those 7 systems, if you will, and figure out what's going on. Well, here they are, and sure enough, yep, 7 of them are in a critical state. Now, I want to call out a couple of things. I've got a number of columns available to me here that are showing me different information about my systems, different information based on what I would want to see about my systems. If I look, there's a particularly interesting one here called the contract status. And if you look at this and you go ahead and hover over the contract status for a given system, I can see that this top system has a contract start date that is a few years ago and an end date that's coming up pretty soon. So it's telling me that it's going to expire very soon. And I can even see the service level or the contract type for this given system. So I'd encourage you to use this contract status to see to see what's going on with your support contracts. Now, meanwhile, let's get back to what we were originally doing here. We were looking at these systems to figure out what could be going on. So let's go to this first system and see what's going on with this first system. So I can see that this is a Blade living in a 5108 chassis. It is a B200 M3. And if I look at this, I can get a breakdown of some very basic information about the environment, but I know that it's in a critical state. Well, if I hover over these hard drives, there's no issues there with the hard drives, and I have chosen to overlay my health status, but we know there is something wrong with the hardware. Let's look at the top view. Ooh, if I look at the top view here, I'm immediately drawn to these 2 DIMMs that are showing red. So sure enough, I've got 2 bad DIMMs in this system. And if I look over here on the right-hand side, I can see the alarms that are associated with these 2 bad DIMMs. So over on the right-hand side, I can see any alarm for specific systems that I'm currently working with. Now let's go back to the dashboards here. Something else that I want to call out is a capability that we call Intersight advisories or security advisories. So I've just drilled into that, and notice that I've got 2 advisories here, and if I look at them, here's a description of those advisories. Now I can see that I've got 30 affected devices by this top advisory, and 15 affected devices by this second advisory. Let's just look at this top one and see what's going on. It's sort of a medium security level. If I drill into that, it's going to tell me all about that advisory and what's going on. And if I look down here, I can actually see the affected devices that are prone to this advisory. And from here, I can actually display workarounds and things like that. And with an environment that's not read-only, I could actually even open an attack case through this interface. So I'd encourage you to take a look at it. Customers are very excited about this capability. Now, I'll go back to the main dashboard here. Now, in terms of how this is laid out, over here on the left-hand side, we've got a list of things that are in Intersight. And with these things, as I drill into these things, I can of course see these things, but I can perform actions against these things. Now, because I'm in a read-only environment, I can't do things like push a firmware update or make a mass change, but this is normally how I would do it. So maybe I wanted to, I don't know, push a new firmware update for this system, and this system. So that is where I would do that. I'd have an option up here to make a configuration change through that interface. But anyway, the intent here was just to give you a quick view of what the console looks like and how this is all displayed and how you can work with it. Thank you for your time.